will get to keep the hero dog who tried to save his life. We have pictures of the man with his guide dog named Orlando. For a while, it looked like the owner might have to give up the animal he calls his best buddy. These guys are so tight, and he really wasn't going to be able to afford it. But now he's not going to have to give up the dog thanks to some very generous strangers. More on that in a moment. But first, earlier this week in New York City, he fell onto the tracks and into the tracks. So between them, and the train rolled his way. His guide dog stayed loyal, jumped down onto those subway tracks. Witnesses say the dog, Orlando, barked and licked his owner to wake him up, or that's what he thought he was trying to do anyway. The train passed right over both of them, but they got into a trench between the rails and survived. When the news came out here locally, it became known that the 11-year-old animal was about to retire as a guide dog. They'd have to retire at some point, and that meant that the agency that provided this dog would no longer pay for his care. The man couldn't afford it. And like I said, they're best friends. Within hours, donors came forward to make sure Orlando's owner could keep that hero dog, something his owner calls proof the spirit of giving and Christmas exists in New York City.
Things like this here don't happen for everybody. You know, it should happen. You know, we should care about one another and we should do for one another. But it's not always that way. So when they told me, I was in awe and I'm shocked.
Shocked and in awe. He says he'd like to get a new guide dog because he really needs one, but he wants to keep Orlando as a pet. With us now, a donor who offered to pay for Orlando's cost of living for the rest of the dog's life, Andrew Piera, who is in Buffalo, New York, upstate. Sir, good to see you. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Shepard, very much for having me.
You know, I was reading, it was in all the papers here in New York City. We must have 50 papers, and I know it made its way up to Buffalo. And you heard about this story, and what did you do?
Well, you know, I was online eating my breakfast sandwich, trolling through the news, and I saw the same thing that you did. I read that Orlando was the hero, and that they were going to break up this dynamic duo between Cecil and Orlando, and it's Christmas time, and I didn't think that was fair. Especially when I read that he would love to keep the dog but couldn't afford it. Well, I'm the CEO of Blue Star Transportation, and I don't make a lot of money, but I do believe in philanthropy, and I do believe that the Christmas spirit still lives. And I said, not under my watch. I was going to make sure that that dog can spend the rest of his life as a dog instead of a working dog. And I contacted the agency. And one thing led to another, and within 3 hours, everything came together, and it's just remarkable, absolutely remarkable.
Well, I know Cecil is a mighty happy man because he knew that he was going to have to retire Orlando. You have to have a guide dog that's young and able to guide you around. But they're best friends, as we've said repeatedly, and he wants to keep Orlando as his pet and get a new guide dog, which he will from that agency in January or February, somewhere around there. But the cost of old people goes up, the cost of old dogs goes up. I mean, there could be all kinds of vet bills that are necessary, and you just never know as dogs get old. And I wonder if you're one who's going to help him with that, no, come hell or high water.
Hell or high water, absolutely. I'm a dog lover. I've had dogs my entire life. My wife and I and our 2 kids have dogs now. Heck, we even bought a dog on our honeymoon. So when I said there would be absolutely no cost to Cecil so he can keep this dog and treat him like a pet instead of a working dog, I meant that. All expenses paid, period. If you like your dog, you can keep your dog.
Andrew Piera with us from Buffalo this afternoon. Good man, good for you. Cecil has been quite the show around town here. I mean, when you survive falling in the middle of the subway tracks with your dog licking your face, you get a little bit of attention. And now he's going to get to keep his dog, and you're a good man. It's nice to talk to you. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you and to all your viewers. Pay it forward and keep the spirit of Christmas alive.
There you go. Nice to talk to you. Thank you. Well, on